Well, hello, welcome to the magic of awareness. If you are new and seeing me for the first time on my channel, I share and explain in a simple way the research and discoveries of cutting-edge sciences, which unfortunately, in my opinion, are not shared by official media, or at least I have never seen them on any television program or read about them in normal newspapers. Discoveries that demonstrate that high cortisol levels and the bioaccumulation of fluoride in the body are the determining factors for the vast majority of known physical and mental disorders, with only a few exceptions. If you're seeing me for the first time, you should also know that according to data from the Stanford National Scientific Foundation, as well as other foundations, it is shown that about 90% of the world's population lives in negativity, and according to cutting-edge medical science proven by several studies, this negative loop is the main biological trigger that orders our brain to secrete cortisol uselessly, wearing us down day after day. Then we have fluoride. Historical research, for example, in particular that of Dr. Jennifer Luke, shows that our pineal gland, in my opinion, one of the most important organs we possess, and which most of the world's population is unaware of, absorbs excess fluoride at impressive rates, converting it into hydroxyapatite crystals. This process accelerates premature calcification and puts the pineal gland practically out of commission. This process accelerates the calcification of this fundamental organ, compromising the production of melatonin and accelerating biological, cellular, and cerebral aging. And that's not all. It has also been demonstrated by other studies and research, including the legendary ones conducted by the IAOMT, that fluoride is not at all essential for our body. On the contrary, it is neurotoxic, classified on par with lead, and unfortunately we still ingest it despite all this research. We find it in the vast majority of everyday products, and we ingest it automatically every day without any real awareness on the part of citizens. Almost all of humanity is unaware of all this, and it is ingested daily from birth. It is still used, as in the case of my daughter a few weeks ago, quite casually by dentists who are also unaware and are not informed about the neurotoxicity of fluoride, as cutting-edge science shows us. And they put it in to prevent cavities in products that are concentrated creams, which are even prescribed via medical prescription, believing they are essential, but the exact opposite has been proven, that brushing teeth with fluoride-free toothpaste actually reduces cavities by up to 35%. The data is clear. Fluoride and cortisol are the determining factors and primary causes that trap almost all of humanity in a chronic survival mode, with a weak immune system, a gradual and constant dysfunction of the vagus nerve, bones, and vital organs, a negative influence on cells, DNA genes, and the DNA sequence itself, resulting in premature wear and tear of the organism that makes malaise and suffering inevitable throughout life. And the vast majority of the elderly are devastated by various pathologies that we consider normal. We think it's normal, it's the course of life, it's old age, but it is absolutely not normal, as cutting-edge science demonstrates. Cutting-edge scientific literature, in fact, highlights two determining factors: the chronic hyperactivation of the HPA axis with a consequent excess of cortisol, and the accumulation from overexposure to external elements such as fluoride, which research associates with cellular oxidative stress and alterations in neuroepigenetic processes. As demonstrated by cutting-edge sciences, we are immersed in these stimuli from birth. To this is added the impact of media negativity through the mechanism of mirror neurons. If you watch the first video, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but you can find the research in my link tree. We absorb surrounding stress from birth, altering the activity of the amygdala, which becomes hyperactive. The amygdala, I remind you, is this small organ inside our brain that primarily processes negative emotions and experiences. If from absorbing so much of this negativity it enlarges and becomes hyperactive, our body literally becomes addicted to cortisol, to put it in simple terms, and our subconscious brain goes in search of negative thoughts and experiences to produce cortisol and satisfy the body's needs. The nervous system gets used to this biochemistry, creating a sort of cellular addiction to cortisol. To put it scientifically, in simple terms, the body becomes addicted to cortisol, as mentioned, and accepts survival mode as normal, primarily shutting down the mode of regeneration, maintenance, and natural repair of the organism, which secretes more cortisol and less serotonin, also known as the happiness and well-being hormone, the one they gave me in the form of pills to treat symptoms of depression, bipolar disorder, and so on. And the consequences are there for all to see. Emotional reactivity, chronic haste, reduced empathy, and the saturation of healthcare facilities. Healthcare professionals operate under stress, often limited by protocols focused solely on symptom management rather than the primary biological cause, namely fluoride and cortisol. This is what modern science tells us and proves beyond a shadow of a doubt. You can find all the clinical data published by globally recognized sites on my link tree in the description of my bio on my profile, and I recommend you watch all the videos in my multilingual playlists on YouTube or in the original English language on TikTok to better understand everything, from the first to the last. I remind you that I am not a doctor, I am not a scientist, I am not a toxicologist, I am not a therapist. This video and all my videos are for informational, educational, and awareness purposes only, based on international scientific literature and my personal experiences. It is not intended to replace in any way medical advice, a diagnosis, or therapeutic treatment to which I always ask you to refer. Let it be clear, every individual is responsible for their own life and their own choices. I speak from direct experience. I have personally experienced physical ailments, various physical ailments considered chronic that I carried with me for years. I was also diagnosed with a severe case of neurobiological alteration, diagnosed as chronic bipolar disorder type A, considered treatable only with lifelong pharmacological therapies. And it was necessary to undergo this treatment. But only up to a certain point, because then, by applying the discoveries of modern science, among which we also find some Nobel Prize winners in medicine, combined with a healthy lifestyle, I supported my body in restoring cellular homeostasis, achieving complete regeneration, and unprecedented energy levels. Biology is universal, and modern science tells us that it is possible for everyone and at any age. I have synthesized this journey into 2 scientific formulas. I understood the mechanisms, and it is very simple. The formula for malaise, constant negativity, plus fluoride accumulation, plus nutrient-poor foods, plus lymphatic stasis, equals excess cortisol, hyperactive amygdala, and vagal tone blockage, which equals inevitable malaise and suffering. On the other hand, the formula for well-being, exposure to positive stimuli, reduction of fluoride, plus nutrient-dense foods, plus photonic efficiency, which I will talk to you about in another video, plus lymphatic drainage equals optimization of serotonin, amygdala in a state of calm, active vagal tone, cellular health, and automatic and lasting well-being. It's automatic, it's science, there's no doubt about it. On my channel, I only explain how to combine these discoveries published in international databases. All the scientific sources, I repeat, can be found on my link tree, and you will find dozens and dozens of links to academic studies that have undergone strict review before being published. You can find them in the video description, in my bio, or on my profile, depending on which site, which social media platform you are following me on. Well, today we are adding the third ingredient to the deadly fluoride cortisol cocktail, which is lymphatic system stasis. What is the lymphatic system? Our lymphatic system is nothing more than our body's hydraulic recycling and purification network. Its job is to drain and eliminate biological waste, metabolic debris, dead cells, and inflammatory markers from the body. Data indicates that, unfortunately, with a sedentary lifestyle and advancing age, around 45 to 50 years old, more or less, the circulatory efficiency of lymph can drastically reduce by up to 60% below its optimal levels. When the line stagnates, the lymph stagnates, the body doesn't regenerate and doesn't function well. You have to imagine it like a river, a nice clear river that flows, that is full of debris, of logs. The water doesn't stop flowing, it keeps going, but it struggles to flow, okay? It struggles to flow correctly and stagnates. And this is what happens in our tissues. The lymph doesn't flow as it should, it stagnates, and consequently our tissues stagnate as well. Put simply, the body's garbage collectors can no longer remove biological waste efficiently. The trash accumulates and our body gets clogged up. And as a result, our body struggles more to make the lymph flow, which produces cortisol, leading in extreme clinical cases to widespread conditions like lymphedema. The lymphedema that currently affects about 300 million people worldwide. The main cause of this clogging, however, beyond the lack of movement, is the consumption of processed foods. And I'm not ultra-processed ones. And I'm not just talking about fast food, which we know is bad for you, but about many products that fill supermarkets, cereals, cheeses, sweets, cured meats, jams, prepackaged foods to heat up, and many others, even products disguised as healthy that contain few nutrients. I did it with an app. I went to various supermarkets to scan products and I found endless junk in my very personal opinion. These foods contain few nutrients. Download an app yourself and see for yourself. Go to the supermarkets. Just scan the barcode. An app, mine is called Open Food, which instantly tells you the nutritional values of the product as a percentage. This is the product and it tells you from 100%, 50%, 70%, 10%, and you will realize for yourself that every time you go grocery shopping, you are buying junk, in my opinion. Well wrapped and fragrant, because it's nothing more than the food they give to chickens and animals in my country. It has more nutrients than what is sold in many supermarkets, and we buy it every day. And this, however, is just my personal opinion, which I express freely. Personally, I no longer buy anything that has less than 70% of nutritional levels. That's how I nourish my body. These foods, as demonstrated by cutting-edge science, do not nourish the cell, do not provide energy. On the contrary, they consume energy from the body to be processed. They often contain traces of accumulation elements due to intensive supply chains, the fluoridated water used in the processing of such products, and in livestock farming. Furthermore, when we consume these foods, the brain receives a signal of cellular malnutrition and activates a biological alarm by secreting additional cortisol, and we find ourselves with that feeling of satiety and hydration when we eat and consume these foods. But it's an illusion, because these foods and these drinks don't nourish and don't hydrate enough. I'm also talking about fruit juices. It says fruit juice, then you go and scan it, but there's little to nothing of actual fruit juice in the product. Always based on my personal experiences gathered from dozens of supermarkets. And so, since the body isn't nourished, you feel full and hydrated, but it's an illusion. The brain cannot be fooled. It sees that the body is lacking nutrients, it goes into alarm mode because, as you know, cortisol is also produced when you are malnourished and dehydrated, so the brain secretes unnecessary cortisol to ensure survival. We end up malnourished, dehydrated, and biochemically stressed without even knowing it. Without knowing it because nobody teaches us. Just look at how much damage consuming these products causes. In my view, in my personal opinion, they should be labeled as harmful to health, just like cigarettes. It should be written in big, bold letters on them, and they shouldn't be advertised as healthy, so that every person is aware of it and can evaluate their own choices. I know that food is bad for me, and I consume it every now and then, because it's good, damn it, it's so good, beautiful good, but I know it and I know how to eliminate it. And I don't overdo it. And I nourish myself with more nutritious foods and less. Instead, before, I too unfortunately used to nourish myself with many unhealthy foods, and I thought I was doing smart shopping instead. Anyway, everyone makes their own choices. This is just my personal opinion. Fortunately, however, also for this, modern science has a solution. It has discovered that there are specific movements and exercises already used thousands of years ago by ancient populations, capable of acting as a mechanical pump for the lymphatic system, which gets clogged by junk food, mainly by the junk food we consume unknowingly, and cleaning it out in a simple way at zero cost and from your own home. Like everything on my channel, like everything that shows us, almost everything that modern science shows us. It's called Viparita Karani. On my profile in my link tree, you can find all the clinical studies and sites that explain exactly how to perform it. This high biological precision exercise we are talking about is a millenary practice derived from the Hatha Yoga Pradipika Viparita Karani, or inverted position. Ancient populations did not possess our microscopes, but they understood the dynamics of bodily fluids at a deep level. I am increasingly convinced that ancient populations knew the biology of the human body better than we know it today. Contemporary scientific research, which is so curious, has gone to look at why these ancient peoples did these things that, and I speak from personal experience, when I talk about them with someone, they say to me, what is this silly thing? What is this stupid thing? Like the AUM breathing, the compression breathing that we have already seen. I do them every day. But the crazy ones, the stupid ones, are the ones who don't do it, not me, in my opinion. I continue to do it because I know they are very good for you. The results can be seen and felt, and it is possible for everyone. So, Contemporary scientific research on inversion mechanisms shows that regular practice acts as a systematic modulator, optimizes cortisol levels, supports the immune system, reduces cellular and brain aging by up to 15 years, and promotes neuroplasticity, improving mental clarity and general cognitive functions. This is not roadside esotericism. This is not a simple yoga exercise. This is not a circus act. This is applied modern science. This is precision biological engineering. This is the magic of awareness, because only when you are aware of who your enemies are and you know how to defend yourself, only with awareness, which is the main thing in my opinion, for the state of physical and mental health. As mentioned, you will find everything, the tutorials on my Linktree and also on YouTube to see how it's done, but the exact biochemical protocol I developed is divided into 3 fundamental phases. Just go on YouTube, type in Viparita Karani, and you'll find a myriad of people showing you how to do it, who still practice it today and know exactly what benefits it brings. As for mine, it is divided into 3 fundamental phases. Phase 1, 3 to 4 minutes. How to do it? Lie down on the floor, position your legs straight vertically against the wall. Your glutes should be more or less a palm's width, 15 to 20 centimeters from the wall. Your back is firmly against the floor. Your eyes are closed. Your arms are stretched out they are stretched out along your sides, palms facing upwards. They are facing upwards. What happens to the body? Stay in this position, breathing calmly, with a lot of calm and tranquility. You might feel an unusual sensation in your legs, and that is completely normal. It is the force of gravity that reverses the flow. The stagnant lymph accumulated in the limbs, which probably hadn't drained for a long time in the lower limbs, begins to flow towards the thoracic duct. What is the thoracic duct, you might ask now? The thoracic duct is the main lymphatic trunk of the human body. You have to imagine it as a sort of biological waste collection terminal. To put it simply, it's the trash can inside our body. And with this exercise, we empty it. We go to throw out the trash accumulated over the years. This inversion accelerates lymphatic return up to 15 times more than in a normal resting state. Phase 2, after 3 to 4 minutes. Phase 2 can last from 8 to 10 minutes. I personally do the whole thing in 20 minutes of my life every day. 3 to 4 minutes. After the 3 to 4 minutes, while maintaining the position, we move on to the diaphragmatic breathing phase. Diaphragmatic 8 to 10 minutes. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, expanding your rib cage without inflating your belly. To be clear, breathe into your chest and not into your belly, okay? This breathing is very important. With this breathing, the diaphragm lowers during the 4-second inhalation and compresses during the 6-second exhalation through the mouth. This rhythmic pressure cycle acts directly on the thoracic duct like a mechanical pump. It activates the pressure change, pushing lymph loaded with debris and biological waste upwards, drawing in new lymph from the extremities and initiating a deep purification throughout the entire organism. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds into your chest while lying down. The diaphragm lowers, and during the 6-second exhalation through your mouth, the diaphragm compresses, activating this pump. Breathing is fundamental for the proper functioning of this exercise. Phase 3 is the simplest of all. After these 8 to 10 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing, done calmly and quietly, it is also a sort of mindful breathing. So you will also enjoy the benefits of mindful breathing, the rhythmic breathing that you can also find on the Linktree, parasympathetic activation and hormonal reset. My technical advice regarding the timer: to perform it at your best without the anxiety of watching the clock, use 2 timers. This is what I used to do. I would set a timer for 15 minutes, and when it went off, I would stop the breathing, the rhythmic breathing. I would set it for 15 minutes, relax for a few minutes, and then start the breathing. Once the 15-minute timer finished, I would just touch a little button since it was near my bra, near my hand, and yes, it would stop interrupting the rhythmic breathing. And then I had another one set for 20 minutes that I would start at the same time. I would stay for another 5 minutes in absolute calm, maintaining the position until the second timer went off. Very, very simple. In these last 5 minutes of total relaxation, breathing slowly, total relax, the biochemical magic happens. The parasympathetic nervous system takes control, the vagus nerve activates, the body reduces the secretion of cortisol and inflammatory molecules, releasing serotonin. In this state of biological quiet, cellular repair mechanisms work at full capacity. The biological clock of aging literally reverses its direction. This exercise, practiced thousands of years ago, very simple to perform from your home and rediscovered by cutting-edge modern science, is another biological miracle. Practiced regularly, I did it for 4, if I remember correctly, every single day, and I continue to do it at least 3 or 4 times a week because you feel amazing afterwards. In addition to cleansing the lymphatic system, it promotes the growth of new cells, including brain cells, enhances the brain's cognitive functions, slows down cellular and brain aging, increases mental clarity, provides energy and vitality, lowers cortisol levels, significantly strengthens the immune system, and rejuvenates cells by up to 15 years. You heard that right. You rejuvenate by up to 15 years at a cellular and brain level, however, in a completely natural, free way and from your own home, not on your birth certificate. You'll always stay the same there. When you were born, but your biological age decreases. And there is a big difference between your chronological age and your biological age, but I think you already know that. Okay? You don't rejuvenate on your birth certificate, let's be clear about that, just to make a little joke. But at a cellular and brain level, yes. I'm happy to repeat that in my link tree I have included scientific papers and international references that validate its effectiveness. You can also find all the scientific papers there that confirm all the concepts expressed in my videos, with dozens of clickable links to international sites that have published and confirmed the discoveries of cutting-edge science after rigorous review, which I share on my channel in the hope that everyone can benefit from them. The formula is always the same. Modern science has made the discoveries, and internationally renowned sites have published them, complete with the scientist's full name and the exact date of publication. Some of these sources even include photos. And I, just a small citizen who was once destroyed by several severe pathologies, discovered these methods, practiced them myself, and now I share them based entirely on my own personal experience, in the sincere hope that they can help someone else who is struggling. Well-being is our birthright, and it is time, in my opinion, that these discoveries be disseminated. Illness is nothing more than the consequences of the bioaccumulation of fluoride and the excessive secretion of cortisol in the body, which destroy the immune system, to put it, well, in simple terms, which make you age prematurely. The dysfunction of DNA, of cells, of DNA genes, of vital organs, of bones. Consequently, illness and malaise are the order of the day, and we consider it normal. But cutting-edge science proves the exact opposite, that it is not normal. You just need to have a little courage to open certain links and go do the research and stop identifying yourself continuously with your problems, but face them, look them in the face, and deal with them exactly as I did. And I am very proud of it. At this point, however, since this news is not being disseminated, and I have had many visits, but the doctors, the physicians who did everything to help me and helped me a lot, they helped me a lot. Even they are not aware of it because they, in my opinion, operate only based on what they are taught. And this stuff about cutting-edge science isn't taught in any university, or at least I believe it isn't taught, because otherwise it would be applied. And the focus is only on treating the symptom and not the primary causes. At this point, a question arises, and I ask myself this constantly. Why is it that, even though modern science has already demonstrated the effectiveness of these natural, free, and accessible to all life-saving practices, it is not disseminated by the official media? In my opinion, and here I am expressing my personal view, the answer lies in the dynamics of global markets. Billionaires, there is an immense economic push focused exclusively on the management and treatment of symptoms rather than on primary prevention and the restoration of cellular homeostasis. A population that is biologically aware, energetically aware, and capable of self-regulating its own nervous system would be a population less dependent on traditional commercial circuits, wouldn't it? It's logical. If these discoveries were applied en masse, they would not only solve the biological scourge of lymphatic stasis, high cortisol, and fluoride bioaccumulation, which are the determining factors and primary causes of almost all known physical and mental disorders, with a few exceptions, but they would also solve the structural problems of our communities. Emotional reactivity. obsessive haste, the increase in social conflict, urban violence, and the total lack of empathy that we see every day on our streets, in saturated hospitals, and in full prisons are not inevitable. They are the direct consequence of a population that is biochemically on alert, constantly under the effect of cellular stress. However, biological truth cannot be hidden forever. All human beings have the innate right to know, to be aware, in order to make free choices about their own health. We must change course, and we can only do so if we are all united. Stop fueling media negativity, which only serves to make us produce useless cortisol. It is necessary to reconsider the systematic use of fluoride, which cutting-edge toxicological research indicates as an accumulating element that is not essential for vital processes. I, for example, no longer use fluoride toothpaste, and I eat healthy. We need to teach people how to regenerate themselves in a simple, logical, and natural way by applying the discoveries of modern science. That is why I need your help in this mission of spreading awareness. Become an active participant yourself. Let's open our eyes. I did it, and I saved myself. I woke up from a bad dream, and I noticed that everyone else is still asleep. Share my channel or others like it with family and friends. Let's reclaim our original biology. I remind you that all clinical data and scientific research certified by globally recognized sites can be found on my Linktree. I have created a true scientific encyclopedia. Well, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and follow me. It's free for you, but it's very important to me. Help the algorithm to promote the channel. If you want to support my independent mission, you can find a link in the video description, Buy Me a Coffee. Click on it and you'll know how to do it. This way I have less stress and can dedicate myself solely and exclusively to disseminating this research. I thank you for your time and your energy. See you at the next biological miracle, and I have so many biological miracles that modern science has proven to publish. It was a pleasure as always. Until next time, bye.